Hey guys, how are things going? In the following tutorial, I would like to talk with you about hammer-ons and pull-offs and guide you through the basics about these two techniques and explain how I'm using it in my arrangements. First of all, as most of you already noticed that in my arrangements I'm using kind of arced lines connecting between notes. So there are three different scenarios. The first scenario is when this arc line is connected between the same numbers, so let's say 5 to 5 connected with a line, or 6 to 6, or 7 to 7, meaning fret 7 to fret 7. That means just hold the note, so don't play it two times. So here's an example of 5 to 5 on the first string connected with an arced line. Just keep the note, meaning hold the finger pressed. That's pretty much it. But what I do want to focus on is the two other scenarios, which is hammer-ons and pull-offs. Now, I want to explain one important thing about those two techniques. I like looking at it in the same way we use the language. So, by the way, those two techniques, I'm using them very, very often, and it's almost like aesthetically giving life to our phrasing, to the playing, to the song, right? Let me give you two examples of how we humans talk. Here's an example of a sentence. I love ukulele. All right? Now, this way, I was talking right now with hammer-ons and pull-offs. And those two techniques can refer to as legato way of playing. Legato means smooth, connected. Now, I'll say the same sentence in a non-legato way, which we mean in music. Maybe some of you, the Italian-speaking ones or the Spanish-speaking ones can relate to those words. Staccato. Staccato is very straightforward, like not connected, the opposite from connected, right? So this is how it's gonna sound. I like playing the ukulele. All right, something is a bit like, it's a bit robotic here, right? So it doesn't have a soul. It's a little bit like, so anyway, that's how I like to see the playing part of those two techniques. I like using those techniques to emphasize the smoothness, to the human aspect. Because if we're not going to use any hammer-ons, any pull-offs, and some other tricks that I'm not talking about in this video, then everything might sound a little bit, I don't know, too robotic, I would say. As you already noticed, I included a worksheet to this video, so there are four actually exercises for you to work on. And I would like to guide you with each one of the exercises and give you a bunch of tips and tricks of how to improve those techniques. All right, what is a hammer-on? A hammer-on, just how it sounds, is a hammer that you put on a nail, so to say, right? Imagine a nail entering a wall and you need to hammer it to the wall. So if we look at a wall and we have the nail, right? The nail has to enter the wall in a very linear way, right? So you don't want the nail to go this way or that way, because that's not how your painting will be positioned correctly, let's say, right on your wall. So this is the direction of the nail entering the wall, right? So that's the same what we would like to have in our fingers, a very I would say 90 degrees angle between the nail. So if you look at your nail here and the last section of your finger, just the very last tiny section here, this part has to meet the neck in a 90 degrees. So again, an example would be, if this is the neck of the ukulele and this is your finger, the end of the finger, let's say the nail, you don't go this way, but you go that way, right? So this is the entire finger, so to say. It's curved, but the end part meets it in kind of a 90 degrees, okay? That's a very helpful tip for you when it comes to hammer-ons and pull-offs, but also for normal way of playing, just when you're playing notes on the ukulele, right? So that's the technique that I'd like to refer to. All right, so as you can see, my fingers are very curved. That's what I'm referring to. Now, hammer-on. So let's look at exercise number 1. What I want you to do is to use the thumb. So it's very simple. And the right hand for all of the exercises, by the way, we're going to be using the thumb as a very basic form of playing. I want you to plug the 0. Make sure that the left hand is already it's not in your pocket or anywhere else, but it's prepared to be played. We plug the 0 on the first string, and we need to execute the next note, so the first fret, by hammering on with the left hand, so like we're kind of jumping on that string. And that's exactly what I was referring to previously, keeping the fingers round and curved, because if you're doing that, it's easier to get a decent sound, right? So, you see? And if I don't have this position, then the sound kind of doesn't become very clear, very clean, very clear. So yeah, 0 to the 1. Try to focus on having the same volume, roughly the same volume, so meaning the same loudness for the note that you're plucking and the note that you're hammering on. That's the target, all right? Right, the whole exercise goes just as it's written: 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. It's a bit of a difficult one, I know, especially when it comes to the pinky. It takes time to develop the right feeling. So once again, 0, 1. A good advice would be play it with a metronome. Of course, I didn't do it right now because I'm just passing through the material. But put the click track, the metronome on, and try to do it in rhythm. I'll give you an example for this. So my foot is my metronome. 3, 4, 1. It takes quite some precision, so this is something that will happen within time. Just keep on practicing it. It might take a week to really to feel the difference. It might take a few days, maybe a week, maybe even 2. Depends on how often you practice and how correctly you practice. Another important tip that counts for all of those exercises, including the pull-off. Keep the fingers pretty close to the strings, because that helps you with aiming correctly. Because if your fingers are very much away from the notes, from the string, from the frets, then you might lose that direction where you're going to, so you lose precision. Okay? So this was exercise 1, and I call this exercise hammer on with the use of an open string. You can play this one from the first string, but you may as well play it from the second string. So the same sequence of 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4 can be also played on the second string, on the third string, and on the fourth string. Doesn't matter if it's a low G or a high G. Alright, that was the hammer-on. Now let's look at the second exercise. So it's still a hammer-on exercise, you're already getting the idea. But here the difference is that we are not using an open string. So it's a press note to another press note. So this is number 2. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay? 1, 2. Again, I'm focusing on having an even sound between the notes that I'm plucking and the notes that I'm hammering on. That's the target, all right? Remember that. Same things apply, so curved fingers. Don't move the fingers too much, so don't go too much away. That doesn't really help, that actually slows you down. What else can I say? The same thing counts for this one. So this is an example of a 1 string. You can as well do it on the second string, third string, and fourth string. And you know what? Even better if you start on the first string and immediately you pass all the strings. Just dedicate it 1 minute per day, 2 minutes per day, running through these exercises, not only that one, but just all the 4 exercises, including the pull-offs, and you're done. You got your dosage of exercises for 1 day, working on your hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, so that's just a quick tip for scheduling. Alright, so as you can see, there's not much difference. It's just what you need to do, that your index finger is constantly pressing, right? So that's the difference. Might feel a little bit new in the beginning, but alright. Pull-offs. What are pull-offs? Pull-offs is just how it sounds, to pull off. So you're grabbing something and you're pulling it off and you're releasing it. The best example to understand how to do a pull-off and what a pull-off is, what we're doing right now is we are using the thumb in the right hand to pluck a string, right? So I just plucked the first string. Now imagine we don't have this luxury of using our thumb right now, and we need to plug the string with our left hand. How do we do that? Hold on, but the left hand is not plucking anything, it's pressing stuff. No, it can be also plucking, and that's what we call a pull off. So let's think, how can we do it? This is kind of plucking, right? So yeah, exactly, this is how we kind of do the pull off, but I want to get into the details of that. So let's say we want to pluck this, the first string, the 0 on the first string. So let's forget about the exercises for a moment. I'm just talking about like a random situation. So I want to hear the 0 on the first string. Let's say I'm gonna use my index finger. I just put it, doesn't even matter where on the neck, on the first string, and I pluck it downwards. So the fact that I'm plucking it downwards, remember how do we use the thumb? If you guys remember, we pluck downwards, right? That's how our thumb goes. It doesn't pluck that way, and obviously not up. I mean, that would be a bit weird. So that's what we are trying to do in the left hand, to plug the note that direction, okay? And this way gives you, this way you will produce a very nice sound out of your pull-off. Okay, let's look at exercise number 3 at the pull-off section. So exercise number 3 goes like this. It's reversed, it's just simply reversed. If we remember 5 minutes ago I was talking about hammer-ons, here it's completely the other way around. So we start from a higher number, we go to a lower number in order to release the note. So 4 fingers, 4 frets. We put the pinky on the 4th fret on the first string, we plug this note with our thumb, and then I want to hear the 0. So how do we hear the 0 on the first string? By playing that note with the left hand. Alright? So one movement for the right hand, but you still get a sound of 2 notes. Alright? 4 to the 0. Again, keeping the fingers round. Remember, that's very important for your sound and for your technique. Alright, we continue. 4 to the 0, 3 to the 0, 2 to the 0, 1 to the 0. That's pretty much it. The same thing you can do on the 2nd string, 3rd string, and 4th string. So just run the strings through and you're good. What else can I tell you about this one? The 90 degrees, as I mentioned before, counts for pull-offs, hammer-ons, all that stuff, and even playing a usual situation when you don't have hammer-ons and pull-offs, right? So that's pretty much how I like looking at it. All right, another situation of how to pull off a string is when we go from a press note to a press note. Same thing what we had with hammer-ons. So unlike what we did right now a second ago with going 4-0, I want to go 4-1, 3-1, 2-1. So this is exercise number 4. Here we go. So 4, plucking it with the thumb. Pressing, so as you can see my finger is already prepared, so in this case you need to press together with 2 fingers because the motion is rather quick. So you see my index is already there prepared, because if it's not there I'm almost about to miss the note, right? So you need to be like very alert here. 4 to the 1, 3 to the 1, 2 to the 1. The direction is down. Remember guys, that's the most important thing. I see a lot of people doing, you see now the direction of my pull-off is almost, it's not really even a pull-off. I'm kind of going this way with my finger, so away from the instrument. The problem with that is that the sound that you will have is not going to be that strong. So you're going to miss the strength of the sound. So it's going to be very shy and not dominant. So down. And the same thing on the 2nd string. 3rd. Etc. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you learned a couple of new things. If you have any questions, you can always write me on the comment sections or private messages, whatever you guys desire. See you in the next one.